Hi, how you guys doing today? I'm your host Kevin, and this is my wife Adrian. We are the McDaniels, and this is our character series. And today we're going to talk a lot about character in detail because a lot of people think we're going to talk about self-control. A defining character of everyone is self-control. All right, and self-control is not something that you can easily hide. Either you have it or you don't have it. Many people believe that they do have it, correct?
Right.
But many people demonstrate that they don't actually have what they believe they have.
Right.
At least not in the amount that they believe they ought to have it. But self-control is pretty straightforward. It's self-control. Either you have it or you don't. So we're going to talk about that. And let's begin with a small definition.
But before you do that,
Yes.
if you are liking what you see, please subscribe to our channel as well as give us a thumbs up, a like
Button.
and hit your notifications so you can be caught up on everything that we're doing
Right.
at
Every
In
week.
Character.
Every week we'll post a video and you can go over it and hopefully you can share some of these tips that we're giving you with your family. You can display them with your children or your spouse. And
That's
you
the
can
whole
have some
point,
good
right?
yeah, definitely, because we want to build character, because the best thing about people is their character.
Right.
It's not their clothing, it's not their vehicles, it's not their homes, it's the character.
Not their riches.
None of that. So your degrees, none of that stuff equates to character. All right, you can go much further with your character than you can with all that other stuff.
Wow.
And that's why we're focusing on character. It's something that we've been lacking here in the United States for some time now. But guess what? Today is a brand new day. We have a
Brand new president.
brand new elected president in office, so things should be different.
And a wonderful vice president.
Certainly. We won't be hit up on Twitter constantly, a barrage of complaints and insults on Twitter like we had been.
What a horrible character
with this
he had.
new administration, where this person seems calm and reserved, very diplomatic. So let's go back into character. Let's talk about our self-control, okay? And it is rejecting our own desires.
And doing what is right.
Doing what's right. Not doing what
Rejecting
you think is right.
our own desires and doing what is right.
Correct.
Okay.
Not what you think is right, but what actually is right. And an easy way to
I was going to say,
begin
what
this.
is that? How is that?
An easy way to develop or to demonstrate what self-control looks like and doesn't look like. We all know on the highway, at least in California, the highway speed limit is 75 miles an hour. Okay, most residential areas is about streets is about 35 miles an hour.
Right.
But here in Southern California, we see people driving 50 on the streets, sometimes 60 on the streets. That desire needs to be broken by self-control. Okay? Because it can lead in harmful accident. It can lead to death. It can lead to all kind of problems because you simply lack the control to do what the law says. The law says what? 35, right? Law says 75, 65. The law is posted, so it's not like you don't see it.
Right.
You clearly see it when you're accelerating, but your desires are to be in a hurry or to get to where you need to get to.
And having self-control while you're driving is very important because if you're driving fast and another person doesn't have self-control, that can lead to road rage.
Road rage.
Didn't you used to have that?
I had that at one time.
Wow.
I sure did.
What happened?
I sure did. I was just reckless. And my behavior showed it. I had very little self-control, although I maintained that I was in control.
Right.
But I obviously was not controlled because I didn't adhere to the laws of the land.
So
I did
wait a
my
minute.
own desires.
Rejecting your own desires and doing what is right is going by the law, which is 35 miles per hour.
Certainly in the
Whereas
streets.
you thought you had self-control, even though you were doing reckless things, driving recklessly.
Certainly.
Okay.
Certainly.
Wow. How many of us do that? Can you comment below if you think you have self-control, but you're not abiding by the laws of our land?
How about that person that you allow to push your button? I guess it's on your nose or something, but you always allow them to push your button because every time you show up, you lose it for some reason. You can't maintain a level of civility whatsoever because that person has entered the room, or that person has started talking, or that person is wearing a red fingernail polish or something that
They belch.
just irritates, whatever it is,
talk too loud.
So again, we want to talk about self-control and what it really is. What self-control isn't is an impulsive behavior.
Okay.
That's what it isn't.
So if there's someone that walks in the room that, for whatever reason, I don't care for, I just start turning up my nose, or
Let's look at why you don't care for them.
Exactly.
Again, because we're talking about impulsive behaviors. That's what you have to have self-control of, the impulsive behaviors, or wanting your desire to outweigh anything else, that's going on. If you believe you're always right, all right, and everyone else has to prove their level of being correct, you have a problem with self-control.
Right.
You have a problem with impulse control. You have a problem with sharing your ideas, or sharing your skill set, or sharing others' beliefs.
Right.
And just hearing them out.
That means you just always want to be in control.
It's not about you always wanting to be in control. You believe you're right.
Okay.
I get. Our Constitution tells us that, that we can pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right?
Yes.
Your pursuit of happiness shouldn't impose on somebody else's pursuit of happiness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's having a level of self-control where you can manage, guess what? The biggest problem that you have, managing your mind, managing your impulses, managing your emotions. That's what we need to focus on with having self-control.
Right. Okay.
It's whom we are.
Okay.
And so before I can control who I am outside, I need to know who I am inside. Right?
Okay.
That character flows no matter, I can't hide that character whatsoever.
Okay.
So let's look at stop it, please. I'm thinking about, that was a self-control act. I'm thinking about something that bothers me personally. Okay?
Like just right now.
No, just it bothers me personally that I may or may not have control over. Because you got to be honest with yourself, people. There are some things that really get to you. Really get to you. And you got to be honest with yourself. So I would suggest that you write these things down. So I have some I will statements that she and I go over that will help with self-control. I will not be what?
Impulsive.
I will not equate my desires with rights. Just because I desire it doesn't mean it's a right that I get it. Like those people that stormed the Capitol, they felt it was their right to do that.
Right.
No, that was wrong. Very, very wrong. Okay.
I will set my own limits.
Who can do that better than you? Right? You know when you've gone too far.
Set your own
of
limits.
Course you
have
do.
To know your limits.
Of course. If you're drinking, say, if there's one drink, stop at one drink, correct? You know what happens after the third one. So let's just not even get to the second, okay? Because you're susceptible to the third.
Right, right.
I will see anger as something that's wrong. Because anytime I get to the point where I want to display anger, or someone's displaying anger, something's wrong in that situation.
Right.
I need to take note of it, okay? And the last thing we want to do with our I wills is know when to walk away when things aren't right.
Right.
Okay? My pastor told me one time years ago, he said, Kevin, sometimes you just got to stop digging. Right? We always try to get ourselves out of something, and then we dig ourselves into something else.
Right.
He said, sometimes you just got to stop digging.
Okay.
Just stop digging. Stop trying to dig yourself out of something, thinking, you're going to dig yourself into something else, and just stop digging altogether.
Okay.
And in that, you got to have the self-control to monitor your impulsive behavior. Not just monitor that, but know when you are at your limits. Like we said, set limits.
Okay.
Okay? If there's some things that you know you can't control.
Like eliminating frustration.
Yes.
And that will reduce conflicts, right?
Not just conflicts, but stress.
Okay.
Okay? Hypertension.
Bitterness.
All that stuff. All that stuff results from a lack of self-control.
Anger.
All that stuff. Anger.
Okay.
Let's look at the people that get angry and have outbursts. We haven't thought about them yet, right? and you know, you're online, so you see these things happening all the time. Somebody's posting someone who lost it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
In a store, something like those people that come in the store with no mask, even though the sign says on the outside,
Wear a
mask, right? Even when you pull up at the drive-through
It
window
seems
and they're
like
saying
they're
wear a
doing
mask.
that intentionally
It's certainly
to
intentionally.
cause a problem.
It's certainly intentionally. That's something wrong with that person.
Right. Right.
That they lack self-control. If we look at the rudder on a ship, the rudder on a ship is like your tongue. Your tongue is the smallest organ on your body, yet it controls so much of what comes from you.
Right. Right.
Just like the rudder on a ship, it's the smallest part of the ship. But when you control and master that rudder, you can back that ship up, you can turn the ship around, you can go left or right. You can do all sorts of things when you control the rudder.
Okay.
If we can control our tongue, we can possibly control our emotions.
And our mind, if we can control our mind.
Control your mind.
All right.
Because your mind dictates what comes off on the tongue, correct?
Exactly. What's that quote you just mentioned to me about that we put on our t-shirt? Our morals. If our morals, if our money outweighs our morals,
You don't remember?
No, I didn't.
We have to look at it again. But primarily it just expresses that our money, our value in money shouldn't outweigh our value of morals.
There we go.
Okay.
That was simple.
And we demonstrate a scale to show, one being heavier than the other.
Right.
And right now, what we clearly see everywhere you go,
Money is
is that
controlling.
money is more valuable than morals.
And one of our morals should be self-control.
Yes.
And
That's
we
a reflection
saw
of
at
great
the
character.
Capitol just a few days ago that
A week ago or so.
so many people were out of control. They lacked self-control.
You know what was eerie? There was a woman that was talking to a reporter, and she was distressed because she said, I got maced and they shoved me and I almost got arrested. And the reporter said, well, ma'am, what did you expect to happen? She said, it was a revolution. We were taking over the Capitol, as though it was right.
Yeah, in their own eyes.
Her desire outweighed what was right.
Right.
And she acted impulsively
Right.
with a group.
Exactly.
All the people in the group
Right.
were completely wrong.
Right.
But that was yesterday. Today is a better day.
Yes, it is.
Today we're going to have more. So
We're going to have more self-control.
Certainly. So if you like what you're hearing,
Push that like
push
button.
the like button. Also,
Subscribe.
Hit the
Notification.
notification. And we'll be back to you. You'll hear from us at least once a week talking about character. In character. And this is self-control. You got to have self-control. Rejecting your own desires and doing what's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.